Monty Python and the Holy Grail is remembered as a landmark of British comedy created under extreme financial limitations. Its lack of money forced decisions that became central to its enduring appeal. Fact 1.
Who are you, who are so wise in the ways of science?
I am Arthur, King of the Britons.
My liege.
The film was produced on a relatively small budget for a feature film in the mid-1970s. Several traditional film financiers were cautious about supporting the project. Its unconventional humour made commercial success difficult to predict. As a result, funding came from a variety of non-traditional sources. Private investors contributed a significant portion of the budget. Some of these investors were well-known British rock musicians. Members of Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd and Genesis were among them. They were fans of Monty Python's earlier work. Investment was made through existing British tax-efficient schemes. This arrangement was legal and common at the time. The funding structure allowed production to proceed. It also limited external creative interference. The small budget influenced every production decision. Large-scale sets were not financially viable. Expensive action sequences were avoided. Scripts were written with cost awareness. Locations were selected carefully. Practical solutions replaced spectacle. Financial limitations shaped the tone of the film. Simplicity became a necessity. Creativity was prioritized over scale. The film's later success exceeded early expectations. Fact 2.
Warm up!
The sound of horses in the film was created using coconuts. This decision was motivated by practical constraints. Hiring horses would have significantly increased costs. Transporting animals was logistically difficult. Insurance requirements added further expense. Using coconuts avoided these issues. The sound effect was simple to produce. It required no specialist equipment. Characters acknowledged the coconuts within the dialogue. This breaks conventional narrative realism. The film openly draws attention to its own construction. Repetition reinforces the joke. The audience quickly recognizes the sound. The absence of horses becomes a defining feature. Scenes are staged without animal management concerns. Physical movement becomes more exaggerated. The sound effect supports the film's absurd tone. What began as a practical solution became iconic. The gag relies on audience awareness. It rewards familiarity with storytelling conventions. The coconut horse sound is now inseparable from the film. It illustrates how limitation shaped creativity. Fact 3.
King Arthur, and these are my knights of the Round Table. Whose castle is this?
This is the castle of my master, Guido Luamba.
Many scenes were filmed in a small number of locations. Castles in Scotland were reused repeatedly. Camera angles helped disguise repetition. Editing suggested different settings. The same structures appear as multiple castles. Dialogue rarely emphasizes geography.
Go and tell your master that we have been charged by God with a sacred quest.
The audience is not encouraged to track locations closely. Budget constraints limited travel. Returning to the same sites saved money. Lighting changes altered visual tone. Costumes added variation between scenes. Performances carried the sense of place. Narrative logic took priority over realism. Continuity was not treated strictly. Historical accuracy was not the goal. Reusing locations shortened production time. Fewer locations reduced logistical costs. Scenes were written to function independently. Spatial consistency was intentionally loose. Viewers focused on humour rather than setting. The approach suited the episodic structure. Location reuse reflects practical filmmaking decisions. Fact 4.
You've got 2 empty halves of coconut and you're banging them together.
So, we have ridden since the snows of winter covered this land.
Costumes were designed to be inexpensive. Armour was often constructed from lightweight materials. Authentic medieval equipment was not used. Historical realism was not prioritized. Costume pieces were reused frequently. Some outfits appear in multiple scenes. Visual repetition was accepted. The rough appearance suited the comedic tone. Lightweight armor allowed freer movement. Actors could perform physical comedy more safely. Costume limitations reduced production risk. Damage to props was less concerning. Cheap materials were easier to replace. Visual exaggeration replaced authenticity. The audience was not asked to believe the world fully. Comedy was foregrounded over detail. Costume simplicity avoided unnecessary expense. Design choices were deliberate. Minimalism supported performance. The style matched the script's absurdity. Costumes complemented exaggerated acting. Budget constraints shaped the film's visual identity. Fact 5.
He is brave Sir Robin, brave Sir Robin. Shut up!
The film used a limited number of performers. Core cast members played multiple characters. This reduced casting costs. Actors appeared in different roles using simple disguises. Makeup changes were minimal. Audiences were expected to recognize familiar faces. This recognition became part of the humor. Character continuity was intentionally loose. Voices and mannerisms signaled new roles. Some characters appear briefly and disappear. The structure reflects sketch comedy traditions. Multiple roles simplified scheduling. Fewer performers reduced logistical complexity. Ensemble familiarity strengthened group identity. Viewers enjoyed identifying repeated actors. The approach echoed the group's television work. Limited personnel encouraged creative flexibility. The technique supported fast pacing. Each role served a specific joke. Performance consistency mattered more than realism. The cast embraced rapid transformation. Multi-role casting became a defining element. Fact 6. Animated sequences appear throughout the film. Terry Gilliam created the animations. Animation reduced the need for complex live-action scenes. Large-scale events could be implied visually. Surreal concepts were easier to depict in animation. Filming such scenes live would have required more resources. Animation reduced location demands. It simplified logistical planning. Gilliam used cutout and collage techniques. These techniques were time-efficient. The rough animation style matched the film's tone. Abrupt transitions were possible. Some scenes end unexpectedly through animation. This avoided filming elaborate conclusions. The animations expand visual variety. They contrast with live-action footage. Narrative logic becomes flexible. The audience accepts sudden shifts. Animation highlights the film's constructed nature. Gilliam's style is immediately recognizable. The sequences became closely associated with the film. Practical necessity influenced artistic choice. Animation contributed significantly to the film's identity. Fact 7.
Open the door! In the name of King Arthur, open the door!
Filming took place largely outdoors in Scotland. Weather conditions were frequently poor. Rain and mud affected production. Weather control was not financially possible. Filming continued despite conditions. Muddy landscapes appear throughout the film. Costumes became increasingly dirty. Continuity was not strictly maintained. Physical discomfort affected performances. Slips and struggles appear on screen. These moments were not removed. Sound recording outdoors was challenging. Many lines were later re-recorded. Wind influenced microphone placement. Weather affected shooting schedules. Delays were unavoidable. Limited budgets restricted reshoots. Scenes were adapted quickly. The environment shaped pacing. The bleak setting contrasts with humor. Physical hardship added unintended realism. The rough conditions became part of the film's texture. Fact 8. The film's ending differs from traditional narrative conclusions. A large-scale final battle was originally considered. Budget limitations affected feasibility. Time constraints also played a role. Logistical challenges increased toward the end of production. The script was adjusted accordingly. The police interruption was used as an ending. This avoided staging a costly battle. The ending deliberately interrupts the story. Narrative resolution is denied. This reflects sketch comedy traditions. The ending surprised early audiences. Some viewers found it confusing. Others appreciated its boldness. The choice was practical rather than accidental. It required minimal filming. The abrupt stop reinforces anti-epic themes. The ending highlights the film's self-awareness. Production realities shaped narrative structure. Few films conclude this way. The ending became widely discussed. Practical necessity influenced creative outcome. Fact 9.
For setting light the grail-shaped beacon, you must tie her down on a bed and spank her.
Large crowds are rarely shown on screen. Hiring many extras was expensive. Scenes imply scale through dialogue. Characters refer to armies that are unseen. Sound effects suggest off-screen action. Tight framing avoids empty backgrounds. Camera placement limits visible space. The audience imagines missing elements. This technique reduces visual demands. Comedy replaces spectacle consistently. Expectation is built verbally. Visual absence becomes humorous. Epic conventions are deliberately undermined. Battles are discussed rather than shown. The contrast generates irony. The approach aligns with parody. Budget constraints encouraged implication. Writing compensated for missing visuals. Viewer imagination fills gaps. The strategy maintained narrative momentum. Small-scale staging became characteristic. The film rejects grand presentation intentionally.
If you do not open this door, we shall take this castle by force.
Fact 10.
If you think you got a nasty taunting this time, you ain't heard nothing yet.
The film did not rely on a major studio system. Oversight existed, but was limited. Investors were less involved creatively. There was no large studio mandate. Scripts faced fewer conventional restrictions. Experimental ideas were retained. Narrative structure remained unconventional. Commercial formulas were not imposed. Expectations of mainstream success were modest. This reduced external pressure. Creative decisions stayed with the filmmakers. Absurd ideas were not softened. Risk-taking was more acceptable. The film embraced unconventional pacing. Jokes were prioritized over clarity. Scenes exist solely for humor. Creative independence shaped tone. The lack of heavy oversight influenced style. Many choices would not suit studio projects. Freedom allowed inconsistency. That inconsistency became distinctive. Reduced control supported originality.
In the name of God, we shall not stop our fight till each one of you lies dead.
Fact 11.
Cans and breakfast cereals and fruit bats and large...
Skip a bit, brother.
Props were intentionally inexpensive. Many items were reused. Materials were chosen for availability. Wooden substitutes replaced metal objects. Durability was secondary to function. Props supported visual jokes. Flimsy construction was visible. Breakage was not avoided. Actors interacted freely with objects. Damage did not halt scenes. Repairs were simple. The audience could see the artifice. This transparency suited the humor. Props encouraged physical performance. Safety was easier to manage. Lightweight objects reduced risk. Suggestion replaced realism. Visual exaggeration filled gaps. Practicality guided prop design. Objects served jokes rather than accuracy. Budget limitations influenced choices. Props reinforced the playful tone.
Taking the French by surprise. Not only by surprise, but totally unarmed.
Who leaps out?
Fact 12.
Else up there we could talk to?
No, now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Historical accuracy was not a priority. Anachronisms appear throughout the film. Modern references coexist with medieval settings. This removed pressure for realism. Research costs were minimized. The script mocks historical epics deliberately. Language is intentionally inconsistent. Contemporary phrasing appears frequently. This contrast creates immediate humor. The audience is not asked to suspend disbelief. Artificiality is acknowledged openly. Anachronisms destroy distract from missing detail. They redirect focus toward jokes. Period accuracy would have increased expense. Satire replaced authenticity. Absurd references filled narrative gaps. The film signals its parody clearly. Historical logic is intentionally broken. Viewers learn the rules quickly. Comedy governs all decisions. Budget practicality supported stylistic choice. Anachronisms became a defining trait.
O Knights of Ni, we have brought you your shrubbery. May we go now?
It is a good shrubbery. I like the laurels particularly.
Fact 13.
What manner of man are you that can summon up fire without flint or tinder?
I'm an enchanter.
The film is structured like connected sketches. A continuous narrative is secondary. Scenes often function independently. Transitions can be abrupt. Some storylines are abandoned. Resolution is rarely provided. This format reduced narrative demands. Expensive connective scenes were avoided. Each segment focuses on a central joke. Continuity is intentionally loose. Characters disappear without explanation. The structure mirrors television sketch comedy. Budget limitations favored shorter scenes. Fewer locations were required. Sets could be reused easily. Writing prioritized punchlines. Episodic pacing kept energy high. Experimentation was encouraged. Failed ideas did not affect the whole film. Structure accommodated creative risk. Sketch logic replaced epic storytelling. This format supported production efficiency.
Here all there was swamp. Or the king said it was daft to build a castle on a swamp.
Fact 14.
The other side, he see.
Ask me the questions, Bridgekeeper. I am not afraid.
What is your name?
Actors adapted scenes to practical realities. Budget limitations required flexibility. Blocking changed to suit locations. Improvisations solved logistical problems. Dialogue was adjusted for clarity. Physical comedy replaced missing spectacle. Performers understood production limits. They exaggerated movement deliberately. Expressions became more pronounced. Timing became more precise. Acting carried visual weight. Ensemble cooperation was essential. Solutions emerged during rehearsals. Scenes were shaped collaboratively. Efficiency was prioritized. Individual roles were flexible. Ego was secondary to function. Performance compensated for missing resources. Energy replaced production value. Commitment sold absurd ideas. Constraints encouraged creativity. Actors became active problem solvers.
Anywhere in this town where we could buy a shrubbery?
Who sent you?
The knights who say Ni.
Fact 15.
Right, how many did we lose? Gawain, Hector, and Bors, that's 5.
Traitor.
3. We'd better not risk another...
The film's limitations influenced its reception. Viewers recognized its handmade quality. Imperfection became noticeable. This differentiated it from studio productions. Constraints encouraged unusual solutions. Risk-taking shaped the final film. The work felt distinct from mainstream comedies. Originality was evident. Repeated viewings revealed layered humor. Quotations spread through fan culture. Rough edges remained visible. Polished realism was absent. Identity formed through contrast. Popularity grew over time. Word of mouth sustained interest. Budgetary shortcomings were acknowledged openly. These shortcomings did not hinder appreciation. The film's voice remained clear. Scarcity sharpened creative focus. Limitations protected individuality. The legacy is tied to invention. Constraint remains central to its reputation.